Hi, good morning. Is this Michael speaking?
Yes,
Oh, hi, Michael. This is calling you from. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time.
I'm okay.
Oh, sure. So, Michael, the reason I was trying to get in touch with you was to check whether we can help you with your current platform. So, maybe you need some offshore resources to help you scale your AI in this platform.
I have a team already doing pretty good with them.
I mean, do you have an offshore team?
Yep.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, does that mean you never look at the new vendors or see how we can bring value? Because let me be honest with you, we are 60% cost efficient as compared to the competitors out there in the market. I can give you a price range if you want.
I've been with the same agency for years. I have a really good price. Have no thoughts to make any changes. Pretty happy with everything.
No, I got you. I mean, I'm not asking you to change your current vendor. That's already fine because you have built that trust over the years. What I'm saying is maybe you have some work wherein you need quick turnaround time and you want to check how, soon can we deliver on the project if that's something we can do.
Yeah, I mean they're able to handle all of my different needs and projects right now.
No problem. Do you want me to follow up in future, Michael?
You can, sure.
Uh-huh. What should be the timeline?
I've been with them for years. I don't have a timeline for when you should reach out.
Okay, no problem, Michael. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cold calls and telemarketing calls from India are usually pretty bad in terms of sales pitch and overall approach. But this salesperson actually sounded really good. She communicated well, she seemed confident and prepared. But there is one problem with her approach, and that is that she used a product selling approach. This is actually what most salespeople do, and it is where a salesperson gets connected with or in front of a prospect and primarily talks about their product or service and tries to see if the prospect wants or needs what they sell, which on paper actually looks like a logical approach. If you've been hired by a company to sell a product and you get paid when you sell that product, it would only make sense for you to try to talk to as many people as you can about the product you sell and see if they need what you sell. But there are actually three problems with that approach. The first being, when you get connected with a prospect or they read your cold email, at that particular time, the prospect is most likely not in buying mode for the product or service you sell. That does not mean they do not need what you sell or that they cannot be persuaded to buy what you sell. It's just that at that exact time, they are likely not Googling and researching the particular area where you have something to sell. And this means that there's likely to be a mismatch between what you're wanting to talk to them about and where they are mentally at that particular time. And that greatly increases the odds of being received with objections, rejection, and resistance. The other problem with this approach is that the prospects you're reaching out to are getting sold to a lot. And 99.9% of those other salespeople are all using a product selling sales pitch. So when you reach out and start talking about the product you sell, you are going to instantly trigger guardedness on the prospect side because you're going to sound like you're just the next salesperson who's reaching out to sell their product. And this will also lead to the prospect starting to get annoyed and likely lead to objections, rejection, and resistance. And the third problem with a product selling approach is that selling the product is usually not the next step in the sales process when you're first interacting on a cold call or the prospect is reading your cold email message. The next step is usually talking more and simply having a conversation. And when you add all of this up, you get a less than optimum approach and one that is more likely to drive towards objections, rejection, and resistance more than anything else. And if you agree with that, what you can do instead is shift your approach from selling the product to one that focuses more on simply selling the conversation. That small shift and change in your approach can completely transform your sales efforts, because not only is it easier to sell the conversation than it is to sell the product, but the conversation is actually the next step that you need to take with the prospect. If we are going to move forward at all, it is to simply talk more and have a conversation. And it is in that conversation where we can start to sell the product. And to apply this change in focus and change in sales pitch to the actual salesperson in this cold call example, she could say something like this. The reason for the call is that we help software providers to decrease the cost for software development. Are you available for a brief call maybe next Tuesday morning to discuss how we do that and how we've done that with other businesses? That structure there is what I refer to as a quick close approach, where we try to close for the conversation right out of the gate. You could also use a more indirect approach where you drive the cold call to asking a few questions before you go for the close, and that might look something like this. The reason for the call is we help software providers to decrease the cost for software development. I'm not sure if that's a priority for you or not, and that's why I was reaching out with a question or two. If I could ask you real quick, are you currently using domestic or offshore software developers? With this approach, you make the questions actually the purpose and the centerpiece of the cold call. And if you design your questions correctly, they should help you to find challenges and areas where there's room for improvement on the prospect side. And once you uncover that, you can use that pain or those challenges as a reason for talking more, and then close for the conversation by saying something like, well, based on what you said, it might make sense to talk more because that's the type of thing that we help with. Are you available for a brief call maybe next Tuesday or Thursday morning where I can share an example of how we've helped other companies like yours to decrease the cost for software development? And if you like this approach, this is actually a methodology that we've created that we refer to as conversation-based selling. And we've put together a full series of videos that explain how to implement this approach and everything you need to know, from creating your sales pitch to implementing the actual sales process, to how this approach will change and improve how you make cold calls, how you design your cold email messages, how you get around objections, and how to drive more prospects to having conversations with you, and then ultimately how to organize and optimize the conversations you have with prospects so that you generate more leads and close more deals. And I will put a link in the description below to a playlist that has all of those videos if you want to go through that sales training program. And that is pretty much it. If you have questions or want more information, the best place to go is salescripter.com. Thanks for being here. Hope this was helpful, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.